Hi, Tammy. I enjoyed your video discussion over informed consent. Um, you provided a very clear, concise video, and you struck on some very interesting points on that. You started out your video by saying that informed consent, the driving force behind it is to ensure that the patient's well-being is paramount. And that's what I found through the research on most of these articles that I read for studying for this week's assignment. One article that I came across, written in 2020 by Shahar, Thornton, Turin, and Hipskind, states that it's the obligation of the provider to make it clear that the patient is part of the decision-making process and to avoid making the patient feel as if they have to agree with a provider. While that doesn't speak to everything in informed consent, certainly what we covered this week, it does speak to making the client paramount, their needs paramount in the decision-making process, and empowering them to feel that they are definitely part of how the treatment is being guided. So it's our responsibility as providers to ensure that clients understand what the treatment is, what it entails, and what goals we're trying to reach. And in doing so, they're part of every decision that's made in how their treatment is carried out. You spoke about some very interesting topics in yours. One thing that I hadn't seen while reviewing for this week, and I read probably 5 different consent treatments or informed consents before I settled on the one that I chose. None of them mentioned telework. And that was very interesting to me because that's become a part of our daily lives. And you mentioned it yourself in the video. Due to COVID-19, a lot of us have entered into a new phase where we're doing a lot of Zoom meets. And for me, it's Google Classroom and things like that with students. So we're having to meet through those things right now. And I can absolutely understand why informed consent would play a role in that and how a patient is having their information now put out through the internet and how we're having to interact with that. So very interesting. It was a good video, well spoken. You put it together well, and it was streamlined. Thank you.